name is Will Smith, and I'm here to talk to you about someone that I look up to and a few of their values. That person being my grandfather, Wilbur Hall Butler, and his values being resourcefulness, hard work and dedication, and integrity. But before I get to that, I'd like to tell you a little bit about the man himself. And here's a picture of him from the bulletin at his funeral. He was born in Beeville, Texas in 1943, but grew up in Choate, Texas. After graduating high school, he went to Southwest Texas College, now just called South Texas, where he had met my grandmother, Ann. Soon after, they got married and had 3 children, 2 daughters and a son. And they lived happily for many years until sadly he passed away in 2019. But all is not lost. I still learned from the many life lessons he left us when he passed. The first lesson that I'd like to get into is his resourcefulness. Now, growing up in a small town like he did, you have to be able to make up your own fun. And when he tells us about the many games he played growing up, my favorite one was called the Bumblebee game. Now, you might be wondering what this is called, how this is played. It's played a little something like this. First, you find a bumblebee nest made into the ground and put a tin can over it. Next, you find something you can hit the bees with, whether it be an old paddle, a bunch of weeds, or just whatever you can find. And next, you slowly let the bees out one by one and you try to hit them out of the air. And apparently it was a great time. And to quote his book of memoirs that he left us, and I admit it, you would have loved it too. And I, for one, think I would have. Another value he shared with me through his many life lessons was hard work and dedication. And for many, hard work and dedication means that showing someone that you're strong enough and willing enough to fully complete a job. And for some, it doesn't matter whether or not there's someone there. My grandfather was part of that group. At my grandfather's funeral, my brother Brett gave the eulogy, and in it, he told us about how while growing up, he absolutely adored the Boy Scouts of America. But growing up in a small town like he did, there were not very many troops for him to join. This did not stop him, however. He still read his book and completed his task one by one until they were all done. Now, this is, for those of you who don't know, this is a hard thing to do, even with the proper acknowledgement. So to do it without is just amazing to me. Now, I've told you about his resourcefulness and his dedication, but the most admirable value has yet to come: integrity. The story I just shared with you is a very good example of integrity, but I'd like to share another one with you that my grandmother told me about when I interviewed her about him. Apparently, he worked as an insurance agent and was quite successful. Whenever anyone had a problem with their insurance, they would go to him and he would honestly try to get the best deals he could for them. Now, I contribute this to integrity because it would not be hard for him to lie and get the most money he could out of them. But this is not the way my grandfather did things. Now, there are many more values that I could share with you today, but these 3 are the ones that I find the most useful and the most admirable. Now, hopefully you come to understand just how much I look up to him, and maybe you come to respect him like I do.